And we say good morning to you. Welcome aboard. We are live at Food City in Elizabethton on a Food City Friday. It is Midnight Madness sale time. Look right here. We got sale prices. Yeehaw. Yeah, I never do this right. Sale prices. Yeehaw. I never do the camera. All right, there we go. Sale prices, again, at all Food Cities. And we're going to be here broadcasting live until 1 o'clock. Then we get ready for a big baseball game tonight. Can't wait. The Elizabethton Cyclones and the red hot Elizabethton Cyclones and the Volunteer Falcons are going to square off at O'Brien Field right up the road here in Elizabethton. It's going to be a fun night. He came down here in a cameo appearance because he can't stay long. He's during his day job, of course. He is, and a very good one at that, teacher at Elizabethton City Schools, Elizabethton High. Head coach Ryan Presnell. Coach, hit your button. You're ready, and there we go. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm living the dream. Loving the call on the Cyclones, and we had over 1,000 views our game on Monday night. You've played a couple of games since then. We had a big win, 5-0 over Central. We talked about that game, but since then, kind of brings us up to speed what's happened.
Yeah, just went over to Sylvan North. Got a big conference win over there. They ran a really good lefty pitcher out against us. Kind of stalled us at the plate for 6 innings. Sixth inning, finally busted it open a little bit. Ended up winning 9-2. Defense looked great. Pitching looked great. Fields are getting kind of tough. Believe it or not, they're really dry. So ground balls are taking crazy hops on the infield and the outfield. And that's kind of the theme last night when we went to Central's. Who's going to play the best defense, because neither team was hitting very well. So we're hoping to improve tonight if we can bring our good defense, our good pitching, and bring some good run support. It's a dangerous little ball club, buddy. We're looking pretty good. I'm happy with our progress so far.
You should be. And a game we called the other night, again, what a way to start your career. A sophomore, Matthew Daly, with a 2-hit, six strikeout shutout over a Sullivan Central team that played pretty good baseball. Michael Akert was their starting pitcher and had some tough luck. Gave up 5 errors behind him, but not a battle of the ball club. And so for a 10th grader to come out there and get his first start and do it the way he did against a AAA team is pretty impressive.
Absolutely. And then last night we had a freshman, Evan Carter, came out and gave us 4 innings, 1 hit ball. Then Lawson Wagner, a sophomore, came out of the bullpen and gave us 3 innings of 1 hit ball. Freshman, sophomore combining a 2-hitter with, again, a very, Central and Volunteer, very similar baseball clubs, very scrappy, put the ball in play. Had 8 strikeouts last night, but those guys are not really strikeout guys yet. Now they will be, but they're not strikeout guys yet. Courage, contact, defense plays behind them. They understand the game exceptionally well. Our coaching staff's done a great job of teaching these guys what it is that we do, how do we do it, who we are, and let's execute the game plan. So that's what led us 4-1.
When you watch Elizabethton play, it's very obvious they have worked on situations in practice. When this happens, what do you do? And when the ball goes over here, what do you do? And that's the key to this thing, is fundamentals. But situation, baseball, just reacting to how things are. If you practiced it, then it just comes second nature because you know what you're going to do, right?
Absolutely, and it's painful. It's a painful process, especially back in those dreary days of February when the kids want to hit, they want to do this, they want to do that. We will do those things, but first, guys, we've got to talk about this small side of the baseball game that's just often overlooked. I mean, last night we had a situation, first and second, 1 out. We have a ball hit kind of deep left center, and our guys have been taught, kind of hang out and then, do a little thing called a pop tag, and our guy pops tags. They're not expecting him. He comes to first, third. Now it's first and third, 2 outs. They try to backpick to first, throw the ball away, we score a run. Well, the guys, nobody in the stands realize, well, that's because of the pop tag. If we don't do the pop tag, we don't get to throw away at first, and we don't score a run that inning. So it's those little things that we want our guys to do that, we're talented, but we're not the most talented. There's certainly a team in Knoxville somewhere that we want to see down the road that's more talented. There's certainly teams around here that I think have excellent talent. It's the little things that are going to separate you in those games. Do you make less errors? Do you do the pop tags when you should? Things like that. So,
Don Coach Ryan Preston, we're live at Food City. We'll run down the Midnight Madness prices that start at noon coming up here in just a minute or two. You look at the league right now, the Three Rivers Conference. You've seen Unicoi County beat Elizabethton. Elizabethton beat East. East beat Sullivan South. South beat Unicoi County. I mean, it's been crazy just in the first couple of weeks of the regular season, which tells me it's a very balanced conference, and the tournament coming up at the end of the season is going to be a lot of fun, but a lot of baseball till then, but a very balanced conference right now.
Absolutely, and I don't know if you remember or not, but we talked a few weeks ago, and I told you our regular season champion probably have 2, if not 3 losses. There's no doubt in my mind. Like I said, we go over to North. North rolls out a guy, lefty, 82, 83, with really good breaking stuff. Held us down for 5 innings. Unicoi goes over to North the night after, wins 3-0. And North right now is sitting at the bottom of the conference. But trust me, they're in any other 2A conference in the state, they'd be towards the middle or the top. They're a good baseball club. They've got some good scrap to them and some good pitching. It's just going to be that way, and that's where it's incredibly hard as a high school coach, because a lot of times you get very inconsistent output from young guys. It's just kind of, they're learning. They don't, the day-to-day grind is for professionals, and they've got to go to school all day and deal with all the things they deal with as a teenager in 2017, and try to get that steady output is very complicated. But if you can do that, you can put together a very special baseball squad, and I think we're doing that right now.
4-1 again. We can't wait till the broadcast tonight. First pitch at 7 o'clock, right?
7 o'clock, lights on, music playing. Field's in great shape. We're ready to go.
Falcons are coming. Last night you beat Volunteer down there, correct?
We did.
Yep. All right, we'll make sure I was right. Yeah, you went down and beat them. It's home and away. It's non-conference. Looking ahead to the next year, are they going to be in the conference next year? I know the Central is. Will they be?
Volunteer will not be.
Will not be. Okay. So it's still going to be a non-conference.
Correct.
So it's still a AAA team, a good test. Last question, who you throw tonight for the Cyclones?
We're going to roll out Trey Shown tonight. He's seen nothing but bullpen. Had a couple of starts last year as a sophomore again. Another young guy. And the young guys go out there, they're not scared, they don't care. They're excited to have opportunity. Sometimes when you gain age and you gain an opportunity, it can be very stressful for you, even though you want the opportunity. Young guys, opportunity is just opportunity, and they're excited to have it. And we've taught them to be that way, and they love it. They relish the spotlight. They want the lights on. They want the big crowd. I told them it's in a game, you don't want to pitch in front of an empty crowd. You want to pitch in the big game with the big crowd. So that's what we're trying to create. Tonight's Walking Dead, by the way, sponsored by CBM Ministries. So it's a Walking Dead theme. If you dress up like a Walking Dead character or a zombie, you get in for $1.
Camp Tampa Wingo. In fact, they're the sponsor of the game tonight for us.
Absolutely. Too. Wonderful ministries. I think every kid in the area has been through Camp Tampa Wingo. It's we can't get enough stuff like that for kids, so really good partnership for us.
Here it is on the screen, too. There it is, Elizabethton High School Volunteer tonight, live from Elizabethton. We'll kick it off right around 6 o'clock, 6:15, whenever Coach can get up there, and we'll be ready to go. First pitch at 7 o'clock tonight. Trey Shown on the mound. Coach, again, I want to say it has been an honor for me to come over there. I really appreciate it, come over here, rather, to Elizabethton, and you folks asked me to come call your games, and man, what a response. The last game had over 1,000 views. That's just going to keep going up, and had some very nice comments from some parents that, man, it's really cool to be able to listen to hear our kids broadcast anywhere in the country on Facebook, and then, of course, they're sending it on the old domino effect, telling folks other parts of the country. So very excited about it, and so I want to tell you, I'm very proud to come over there and put on that black and orange E-ball cap and call the Cyclones.
We're proud to have you, brother.
Yeah. See you tonight.
Sounds good.
Cyclone Pride.
Cyclone Pride, brother.
You got it. That's our buddy. Again, here is, as I told you, there it is tonight. Tom Taylor Sports Show will stream audio of the Elizabethton High School volunteer game. Again, starts at 7. We're going there at 6 o'clock with a broadcast of this man right here. We appreciate him very much. He's got to get back to school. He is the head coach at 4-1. They are out of the gate in a big-time way. And also the Lady Cyclones. We'll talk about them coming up in a minute. Coach Harden's got them playing very, very well, too. So the baseball and softball is clicking right now in the land of the orange and black. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. We will jump in and talk about what went wrong last night. My boys from West Virginia had a chance and couldn't get her done. Gonzaga moves on. Talk about that and tonight's matchups in March Madness next year from Food City and Elizabethton. Show number 485 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
The deals are heating up for Truck Month at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. Over 300 new Chevys to choose from, all with incredible savings. $11,000 off MSRP on 16 Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. Check out the savings online at championjc.com. 16 Silverado Crew Cab, $33,685. 16 Track, $17,460. 16 Equinox, $21,615. 16 Traverse, $27,365. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology has just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
And we're back with the Tom Douglas Sports Show. Thanks for being with us again from last night. Let's run it down for you real quick. Les is here, obviously. Look at that handsome devil on the camera. Yeah, look right there. That's my man.
Hey, that's me. Hey.
There you go. Look at him.
All right, I'm going to have to get used to this. A little bit different setup.
There you go. We got it on camera now, so you have to put your makeup on, look purty.
I don't know if any help here.
No. Let's run down the Midwest real quick. Oregon holds off Michigan last night, 69-68. Kansas, the first blowout of the tournament, and it was a big one, 32-point smackdown to Purdue, so the Jayhawks may be the team. They move on, of course, to take on Oregon for the Midwest Championship. On the west side of things, you had Gonzaga. Devon Carter had a chance to hit a game-tying three for West Virginia. Couldn't get it done. Gonzaga holds on to win 61-58. And on the second game, the big upset, Xavier, the lowest seeded team in the tournament, still playing. The 11th seed knocks off the number 2 seed Arizona, 73-71. So for the West Championship, it'll be the Gonzaga Bulldogs and the Xavier Musketeers out of Cincinnati. The Midwest Championship, the Oregon Ducks and the Kansas Jayhawks. That's a bird matchup there. So Ducks and Jayhawks and Bulldogs and Musketeers on the other side of the equation. We've got the East Regional and the South Regional tonight. Let's see, the South Regional has North Carolina Butler and Kentucky and UCLA. On the other side of the ledger, you've got Baylor and South Carolina and Florida, and yes, got them all but one. Just went blank. Who's Florida playing? I'll have to, dadgummit, I thought I was going to be so proud of myself. Got them all but one. So, anyway, I'll check it here in just a second. My man's in the house. Store manager here in Elizabethton. Love coming to Elizabethton. Les is here, and it's about to get crazy here in just a few minutes. The Midnight Madness sale. You've got some super specials this week for the Midnight Madness sale. Shoppers at all food cities. Tell me about it.
Okay, first of all, we're glad to have you back here in Elizabethton.
Love it.
It's been a few months. We've got the whole pork, boneless pork loin for $1.49 a pound in the Midnight Madness. We've got our Pepsi cubes. We've got 2 for $10. That's a great buy there. Super buy on fresh strawberries. $1.49. Got some turkey breasts here. You know, be good coming up for Easter. $1.49 a pound. Got some great deal on some Mayfield novelty ice creams, Campbell homestyle soup, some Scott paper towels. Of course, we run Frito-Lay Doritos a lot during the Midnight Madness. and that's people love those. They're big success here at this store. Got a good deal on some charcoal down here too. $2.99 for a 7.3 to 7.7 pound bag. That's great on that. So there's a lot of great deals at all of our Food Cities, and we're looking forward to selling a lot today.
Now the Mayfield novelties, you got brown cows, you got fudge bars. Trying to think what else is over there under the Mayfield. I know the brown cows fly out of here, and the fudge sickles and fudge bars. What else do you have that's in that Mayfield ice cream in those novelties? Ice cream sandwiches?
I don't think the sandwiches are in that one.
Brown cows and fudge bars for sure, and those are limited for. They're $1.49 a box, 6 to a box. So it's heating up, and that'll be a good thing to cool down on the weekend for the kids or in the evenings when they get home from school. So that's going to be good. The Campbell's Homestyle Soup, that's a rocket price too, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. 89 cents a can. That's a great deal on that.
Yeah, limit 6. Also, if you're a Pepsi drinker, you've got Pepsi products, 24-pack, 12-ounce cans, 2 for $10 today from midnight till close at all Food Cities. Let's talk about school bucks. I know you like going around, and when they see Les coming around here in this part of the area, as all the store managers, like Santa Claus is coming because you're passing out checks. And tell me some of the schools you help out over here in Elizabethton. And
well, we help out all the county schools and city schools. Everyone gets a check.
They all get a check, and ballpark some of the number of check. I mean, the amounts of some of the checks you take out.
Well, they run anywhere from on the bottom $3 to anywhere to $2,500 normally. Sometimes $3,000 and for the schools, and that's a great addition to help them buy the things they need. It's not normally in their budget.
And the beauty of it is, Food City says spend it for whatever you need to spend it for, whether it's for books or mops or microscopes, whatever you need, use it as needed. And of course that's awesome. Now for us out here shopping with our Food City Value Card, how does that work? How do we get the money from our pocket to the schools at the end of the year school bucks?
Well, it's very simple. Our shoppers come in and they can tell our cashiers which school that their kids go to, or maybe a grandkid or niece or nephew, and we'll log it into the cash register, and all their points from there going forward will go towards that school, and the more points they have, the more money they get.
If you have a child at Elizabethton and you have a child or grandchild at, I don't know, pick a place, Volunteer High School, how can you make it work so both places receive?
We can put them both in and do a split.
Yep, do that easy. And so it ends end of April, and then we start tallying things up, and then you'll start taking checks around later on this year, right?
Right.
Yeah. Good stuff. Can't beat it. Midnight Madness sale again coming up tonight, and we always have a paper product on sale, and you've got 2 of them again for the Midnight Madness sale.
Yeah, we have the Scott paper towels and the Scott tissue paper on sale for $3.99 for a 6 to 12 roll pack, and super deal.
And the Red Ripe fresh strawberries. You like strawberry shortcake?
Oh, who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
$1.49, and these strawberries they look great. They're real nice.
Scott's aren't ready yet. These are coming out, I believe, they're coming out of Florida, and so in Florida and California. So fresh strawberries, Red Ripe, 16-ounce container, $1.49, and then last but not least, up there in the corner, whole boneless pork loin. That flies out of it every time they have it on sale.
Oh, it is. I normally pick up a couple for myself. I mean, that's super deal, and it's wonderful pork, wonderful.
Oh yeah. And we love coming over here. Of course, we've got Elizabethton Cyclone baseball tonight. We're doing the Cyclones now for the baseball team. Coach President was just here, and he's over getting him a hamburger before he goes back to school. So we're all about Elizabethton, and we're over here today thanks to Les and Kevin up at the home offices. Get over there and talk about Midnight Madness sale in Elizabethton. So we be here. So when you look down this bad boy here, what jumps out at you? What is one of these? You've been at this a long time. Give me some of those can't miss deals.
Well, the fresh strawberries really, I think, is near the top of my list. Also, the Pepsi, the 2 24 packs, 24-pack cubes, 2 for $10. That's a great deal there. With upcoming barbecue season, grilling season, the Kingsford charcoal briquettes for $2.99 for a large bag, 7-pound bag. That's a standout too.
There you go. All again at all Food Cities. We're here, of course, in Elizabethton. These sale prices good at every Food City of the 106 store chain until close tonight. And of course, a lot of folks, it's already happening. They come in here. I've seen them getting their Midnight Madness sale paper, and they've started shopping because it'll actually kick in about 40 minutes. So they'll get around here and get what they need. And by 12 o'clock, a lot of them will be going through just as the registers kick over and be ready to make those great savings again for the Midnight Madness, the Food City value cards. So good stuff. You want to come back a little while and do it again?
I most certainly will. It's a fun event, fun to have you here and have you here on Midnight Madness, and we'll see what we can do by getting you some guests come by.
There you go. Bring him up here. We'll talk to him. Absolutely. He's a good man right there. I appreciate him.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes, sir. He runs a great store over here, too. Here's today's lineup. Look here on the screen. We've got Bill Patrick of the Kingsport Speedway, Dave Angie of the Johnson City Press, Les here in Food City. We've also got Mike Maines, the general manager of the Elizabethton Twins, coming by. All that and more. Plus, we will have, as he said, some of his folks going to stop by here and talk as we're here live at Food City in Elizabethton on this Midnight Madness sale. And again, here is the baseball announcement coming up today, or right there, 7 o'clock tonight from O'Brien Field. Elizabethton 4-1 out of the gate. They're starting, what do you say, sophomore Trey Shown will get the ball tonight for Coach Presnell. And so Elizabethton and Volunteer from up the road here at O'Brien Field, the home of the Twins, on there at 6, first pitch at 7. Going to be a lot of fun, and we really have enjoyed coming over here. Last Monday's game had over 1,000 views, and so it's audio only, but we're just giving you the play-by-play on digital stereo around the world on Facebook Live. So quick break. We'll come right back. We'll jump in, talk a little sports, and we'll again break down. I'll find out who that other team is. Who in the world is Florida playing? I got them all but one. You remember? Do you have any idea? No, I couldn't. I've slept since then. But anyway, I'll let you know right after this. We're live at Food City in Elizabethton, show number 485 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the crossings in North Johnson City.
The deals are heating up for Truck Month at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. Over 300 new Chevys to choose from, all with incredible savings. $11,000 off MSRP on 16 Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. Check out the savings online at championjc.com. 16 Silverado Crew Cab, $33,685. 16 Track, $17,460. 16 Equinox, $21,615. 16 Traverse, $27,365. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us live again at Food City in Elizabethton on this Food City Friday. Getting ready for the Midnight Madness sale. Starts in less than 30 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, 35 minutes is when it cranks up. We're going to be joined by Dave Angie coming up here in just a few minutes. How about a big congratulations to our second winner of the Family 4-Pack to go to Bristol Motor Speedway. And how many days on the countdown to the Xfinity Series? 28 days from today. There you go. Here's where you can register. Again, last week it was Jennifer Carr. This week we're about to give you the brand new winner of this week's tickets. It's a Family 4-Pack going to the Auto Zombie 125, the Canyon Pro Light Series, and also you have the Fitzgerald Auto Glider Kits 300 coming up, both of those on Saturday, 28 days from today. And so our first winner was Jennifer Carr. Our second winner, we pulled the name. We thank you for all the applicants, or the entrants, if you will. And here's where you go, TomTaylorSports.com/contest. And our second winner is from Johnson City, Deanna Jilton. Deanna Jilton, she wins a Family 4-Pack. She qualified, put her name in the bucket, and so everybody's name stays in the bucket. So Jennifer Carr from Elizabethton last week, and today, every Friday, we've got, 3 more to give away. Every Friday, present a new winner, and today we pull the name of Deanna Jilton from Johnson City. So congratulations there. And again, I want to win. I want to try and win. Here's where you go. TomTaylorSports.com/contest. No purchase necessary. And again, once you have registered, your name stays in the hat throughout the promotion. You don't have to go back and re-up every week. Once you're there, you are there. Tom Taylor Sports Show, let's run them down for you again. How did I miss the Wisconsin Badgers? But that's who Florida's playing tonight. My apologies to the Badger fans because just had a brain burp, didn't work. But we do know who's playing tonight for sure, and that would be his return to Memphis, which is not going to be very welcoming, to say the least. It'll be Kentucky and UCLA in the nightcap. First game, Butler 25-8, North Carolina 29-7. Again, that'll be in Memphis. The second game, Kentucky with John Calipari, who just recently signed that contract extensions. We'll be paying him we'll be paying him $8 million a year starting in 2 years. Next year he gets $7.75 million to coach Kentucky basketball. Then from there on in, to keep him there and not let him be lured away by the NBA or other colleges, they're going to pay him $8 million a year starting in 2 years for 4 years. No, I'm sorry, for 6 years. So he is set, is John Calipari. He's only in his 50s. He is set for the rest of his life, obviously. And they will take on UCLA. Kentucky at 31-5, UCLA at 31-4. That's game 2 tonight at the FedEx Arena, or FedEx Forum in Memphis, baby. And then also the East Regional being played at Madison Square Garden, South Carolina 24-10, and the Baylor Bears at 27-7. That's game number 1. Game number 2, Wisconsin 27-9, and the Florida Gators at 26-8. Those are the teams still playing in the respective regionals tonight. And so going to be some great basketball this evening. Butler, North Carolina, Kentucky, and UCLA in the South, South Carolina and Baylor, and Wisconsin and Florida in the East. And so Gonzaga moves on to take on Xavier for the West Championship, and Oregon will battle Kansas for the Midwest Championship. Those will be coming up tomorrow, and of course the winner of tonight will come back and play on Sunday. Tom Taylor Sports Show, we are live here again at Food City in Elizabethton, getting ready for the Midnight Madness sale. Again, some of the specials you will want to be sure and take advantage of at all Food Cities. Again, all 106 stores, no matter where you are. Frito-Lay Doritos, $1.99 a pack for limit 4. Mayfield novelties, that would be brown cows, fudge bars, all the Mayfield novelties, limit 4 per person, 6 to a box, $1.49 today. Also, the paper towels are on sale. Scott paper towels, 6 regular roll paper towels, or 12 big roll bath tissue. Toilet paper, TP, $3.99. Not returning next season to coach at Georgetown. John Thompson III spent 13 seasons at Georgetown, a program his father, John Thompson Jr., led to the 1984 National Championship. Georgetown has missed the NCAA tournament 3 of the past 4 seasons. In fact, the Hoyas finished next to last in the 10-team conference this past season. Georgetown says time for a change, and they made one. And so John Thompson III gone as the head coach of the Georgetown Hoyas. What else happening in sports? Pro football. Interesting. They are going to change. They want to change the kickoff as we know it in the National Football League. And so the kickoffs are going to be changed so that the Redskins are proposing a new rule designed to make the kickoff a little spicier. What are you talking about, Tom? Well, rules proposal number 6 proposes the league move the line of scrimmage to the 20-yard line for any touchback when the free kick travels to the uprights. So if you got a guy kicking off, kick it through the uprights on the other end of the field. As a reward, your team pushes the team that got the football. Instead of taking it to the 25, they'll have to take it to the 20 because your guy kicked it to the uprights on the kickoff. All right? This would benefit kickers with big legs who are able to blast the ball down a long line and through the uprights. And so by doing so, the kicker generates an extra 5 yards of field position for his defense every time he kicks the ball through the uprights. So, it's a little twist to it. I'm okay with that. It'll be all right. That way, like a guy like Janikowski for the Raiders can drill it in the end zone every time to the uprights, then the other team, the kickoff return team, A, doesn't get a chance to return the ball, and B, because he can kick it to the uprights, instead of taking it to the 25, they'll have to take it to the 20 because he kicked it to the uprights. So, I can see that. That's all right. It'll be all right. Keep thinking about it. I think that's a good deal. I think I can live with that. We are live again at Food City in Elizabethton on this Food City Friday. We thank you for being with us. Don't forget, coming up, we've got Cyclone baseball tonight. Elizabethton taking on the Volunteer Falcons. Last night they went to Volunteer and beat them, got them pretty good 5-2. So they'll come back tonight for the return match. It's a non-conference game, but still, it is going to be a fun game to call from O'Brien Field right up the road here in Elizabethton. It is tonight Walking Dead night. So if you come dressed up as a zombie or as Walking Dead, you get $1 off admission, get into the ball game. Thanks to CBM Ministries, Camp Tapawingo. We're going to be talking to Dave Johnson about the camp a little bit later on. He's our sponsor of the game tonight. So if you want to come dressed up as a zombie or the Walking Dead, you get a discount getting into the ball game tonight. And I understand there's going to be a lot of students there from Elizabethton that are going to be dressed up just like that, so they can have a big time and act like high school kids and dress like zombies and have a big time. I probably won't be dressed up as a zombie. I'll just tell you right up front, if you come to the ball game, don't look for me dressed up. I don't even know what a zombie looks like when you're dressed up as a zombie. I don't watch it. I have no clue. So if somebody's dressed up as a zombie, I guess I'll know it when I see it because I don't know what it looks like. I'm not into the zombies, but if you are, you can get in there and get $1 off your admission price today at the ball game. 7 o'clock first pitch, Elizabethton and the Volunteer Falcons. Let's run it down for you from yesterday, as a matter of fact. First off, on the baseball side of things from yesterday, Cock County beat Washburn 14-4 in 5 innings. Crockett beat South 2-1 in a non-conference game. Elizabeth, as we said, defeated Volunteer 5-2 to go 4-1 on the year. Granger over South Green 4-3. Seymour beat Morristown East 5-4. Unaka takes 2 from Cosby 14-5 and 16-1. And that was again in high school baseball. West Green beat Sullivan North 7-6. Now the Fellowship of Christian Athlete Tournament, Sullivan East beat Tennessee High 11-6. Abington beat Sullivan East 16-2. And in Southwest Virginia, under the umbrella of the FCA tournament, Virginia High, the Bearcats beat Chucky Doak 23-0 in 5 innings. Whew, man, oh man, that's, bless your heart, that ain't good. Today, the FCA tournament, you got Sullivan South at Sullivan North regular game, Seymour at Dobbins Minute. Then in the FCA tournament, Union at Tennessee High at 3 o'clock. Abington taking on Tennessee High at 8 o'clock tonight. In Southwest Virginia, Lehigh at Rye Cove and G.I. Burton at Gate City. And of course, our ball game, Elizabethton and the Volunteer Falcons tonight. Again, 6 o'clock airtime, first pitch at 7 o'clock. He's here. Let's let him get settled in. We'll put him on. He's brought the Dave, it would appear. And, he's going to be very proud of that fact, I guess. He's here, our buddy Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press. He brought the Dave, and he's going to get it out and get it up on so we can put him on the screen. Oh.
I'm going to reconsider the name of this thing, though.
It may not be the Dave now. Are you implying you're not doing so hot?
Oh, I'll tell you, this is...
There it is, the Dave. I like it.
There it is.
Yeah, but it's not the Dave right now.
Well, right now, the grip is a little slippery. The grip's a little slippery right now.
Okay.
I'm trailing my youngest brother.
Uh-oh.
And my 7-year-old daughter.
Oh.
And but it's really close. We're to the point now we came out of the first couple rounds and everybody was pretty tightly packed there. These games are worth 10 points apiece, just to put it into perspective. The next few games and also the final 4 games, and the championship game's 25. So everybody's within 30 points right now, which is pretty tightly packed. But yeah, my brother's up by a point on my 7-year-old daughter. My mom is right behind them. But my mother,
try not to laugh.
Dear old mom's a point behind them. So they're all within 2 points of each other, and my dad and I are tied. I think I'm not very good at math, so we're 4 points behind the lead right now. So we're all kind of tightly packed there. But the grip right now, the grip is slippery. The palms are sweaty, and it's
tension's
getting real.
In. Yep,
it's
getting
getting real. So
we're talking to our buddy Dave Angie, normally with us on Wednesdays. He had a meeting on Wednesday, couldn't make it, but he's here today. So he brought what he called last week at Chick-fil-A the Dave, and apparently at that point, people saw and heard that you wanted to see and hear the SmackDown. You gave him a little lip service.
Yeah.
So now, since you are getting beat by your 7-year-old daughter, how are things going now? Are you hearing does it come back at you?
Oh, I've heard a little bit. I'm gonna need to get more.
That's great.
I'm gonna need to figure something out here because my phone has been lighting up. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty much nonstop, and I guess I need to ask Verizon about more texting privileges or data or whatever they call that stuff. Because it's been a lot of fun. It's been back and forth, and real close competition, like I said, and it's been a fun tournament. I think all around, just for people that enjoy basketball. You look at last night, how many close games were there? And it was just. Of course, 3 out of 4 went against me, which was upsetting. But still, I mean, just great basketball. And I think that's a product of a lot of the higher seeded teams going through this year. We've had some tournaments recently where you get a lot of 13 seeds through, 12 seeds, some real surprises in the Sweet 16, and then you kind of have a deflating game or two in there. But it's been fun to watch. So.
We're talking to our buddy Dave Angie, the Johnson City Press, on camera here. We're live at Food City in Elizabethton for the Midnight Madness sale. So last night, Oregon gets by Michigan 69-68. The Wolverines go down.
Yep.
Kansas, the blowout, the first really big one of the tournament, 32-point smackdown to Purdue. So it's Kansas and Oregon for the Midwest tomorrow. And then on the other side, you have Gonzaga. Carter had a chance for a three-pointer to tie for West Virginia. Couldn't get it to go, so Gonzaga wins 61-58. And, of course, Xavier, the surprise team, the lowest seed still playing, the 11th seed, beats Arizona 73-71 to the nightcap. So it's Gonzaga and Xavier tomorrow night for the for the West Championship. So take a shot on analyzing those: Gonzaga, Xavier, Oregon, and Kansas.
I think that was a big test for Gonzaga last night because I think West Virginia. I thought they were a team that might be able to make a run and win a championship if you look at how well they play in the first 2 rounds. Then they run into Gonzaga. I think what happened to them last night was they were kind of forced into more of a half-court game. Gonzaga's guards are so good that they weren't able to force the turnovers like they were in the first 2 rounds, which gives them transition points. And then if you're going up against that Gonzaga team in the half court, you got 2 7-footers in the paint clogging things up, and that really upset West Virginia's offense. They kind of had to live by the 3 a little bit more than they wanted to. And of course, for them, that last possession was really a mess there. They just were not able to really get off much of a shot, and that's a testament to how good Gonzaga is half court defensively. So, I think that's a good win there for Xavier. Nobody expected that to happen. But of course, I think the degree of difficulty goes up for them against Gonzaga, especially when you look at what they're going to have to deal with in the interior. And you got to remember, Gonzaga is a team that beat Arizona earlier this season, so they've proven they might be a cut above of what they played last round.
We're talking to Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press. We are live here again, and we appreciate him being with us here on the Tom Toller Sports Show. Again on this, let's see, did I get the audios on here? My guest? I don't know if I did or not. Let's see. Is he here today?
See, we're a little bit challenged this spring in terms of field location and some things going on with
the screen. There we go. Now, we did get him on the lineup, didn't we? Yeah, there's Dave Angie, Johnson City Press.
Yeah.
So got him on. Coming up a little bit later on, Bill Patrick from the Kingsport Speedway. Mike Maines, the general manager of the Elizabethton Twins, going to join us. Les was here a few minutes ago. Steve McCauley from FCA is going to stop by, make a cameo here in a few minutes. But we're talking to our buddy Dave Angie. All right, I've heard some coaches say that, strategically speaking, it's been a train wreck. A lot of these teams aren't prepared for last shots or a 2-minute offense. It's kind of like, here, you shoot it. No, you shoot it. So would you agree that it's been kind of haphazardly as far as trying to get a strategy for a last shot in some of these games?
Yeah, it's
it's really surprising. But I think we've talked about it before with so many freshmen playing now. And there was a time in college basketball where freshmen didn't play. They had JV teams or freshman teams or whatever, and they played there, and then they came up as sophomores and they were a little bit seasoned. Now, the best players, they're there a year, they're there 2 years, and they're out. So you have a lot less experience on the floor, especially for these top teams, and they're extremely talented. But when it comes down to time and possession, which you hear a lot in basketball, and that's the important thing, they don't seem to grasp it. You see a lot of things. The most glaring being the foul that Vanderbilt committed against Northwestern when they were up a point. And just inexplicable there. But there've been a lot of them. I think when you look at West Virginia last night, they had a lot of time on the clock. I think the play there is to go in, get your layup, or try to maybe get fouled shooting a layup, and you're able to tie the game, or at least you extend the game by fouling and then getting it back. But to be insistent on the three-point shot when that's what Gonzaga was defending, that just kind of showed it was a meltdown. We've seen a few of those too, and it's been it's been glaring when it's happened, and I've heard a lot of talk about it as well, and that's definitely been kind of a story of the tournament.
We're talking again to our buddy Dave Angie. We're live at Food City in Elizabethton. The Midnight Madness sale starts in about 15 minutes, and you'll see the floodgates open. There's already a good crowd in here, and a lot of folks are shopping now. And, of course, once the clock strikes 12, then the computers kick in for the sale prices. So a lot of folks are going around now getting their sales. We'll run down some of those for you coming up here in a minute. All right, let's break down tonight's games. You start in the South. You've got North Carolina Butler and Kentucky and UCLA. Take it away. What do you think about those two?
Well, I think North Carolina could be in some serious trouble against Butler. I mean, I really do. I think Butler's the kind of team, when you look at guard play, that can kind of exploit North Carolina a little bit. And that would be one I wouldn't be surprised at all to see North Carolina get knocked off. They played. They seem to have peaked maybe a little bit before the tournament in my eyes. I mean, I think they were playing some better basketball maybe a month ago than they are now, especially when you look at their ACC tournament run. But it's so night in and night out in this tournament, and that's the thing that's fun about it in a way. I mean, you don't know what North Carolina team or what Butler team is going to show up. So, I think matchup-wise, Butler can hang with them. You look over at UCLA and Kentucky, and I mean, that's a marquee game right there. When you look at the guard play of UCLA and Kentucky's played so well with those young guys. It looked for the longest time this year like they weren't going to be able to put it together, and now they really have. I think that has the potential to be maybe the most entertaining game, that we've seen in this round so far. So that's going to be fun to watch.
Calipari got a contract extension, 2 years with the school. His contract now runs through 2024. He'll make $7.75 million next season, $8 million for each of the next 6 years he remains at Kentucky. Pretty good bread, isn't it?
That's money well spent if you look at what he's done. They're always at this level, and that's something that you can't take for granted. If you don't have the right coach in there to recruit, to get the players in and then get them to this level, it's amazing what he does every year because he has a new roster. He turns it over and makes it work. So if you're Kentucky and you want to fill Rupp Arena, that's what you want to do. You look at other programs who have been great at times, and now their arenas are half full. They'd love to have that guy. So as long as he stays within the confines of the rules of the NCAA, you're happy to have him. And so far at Kentucky, it seems he's done that.
10th Sweet 16 in the past 12 years for Calipari and the Wildcats. He's led the UK to 4 of the past 6 Final Fours, most notably the 2012 Final Four in which UK won the national title. So he's also got at UMass to the 1996 Final Four and Memphis to the 2008 Final Four. So, and in between that, he coached in the NBA for the Nets. So the guy's successful everywhere he goes. Do they beat UCLA tonight? Do you think they do, or do you think the Bruins will knock them off?
I think they do. I think they beat the Bruins tonight, and it's just kind of a gut feeling on that. But I think they just have that little extra to where they're going to get over the hump. I think you look at Ball though at UCLA, and there's a guy that's capable of taking a game over, and if UCLA wins, it's going to be because he had a huge night.
And then you look at the tradition side of things, to be able to potentially have a North Carolina Kentucky South championship out of the regional. I mean, you're talking about tradition rich, but obviously Butler has something to say about that, and so does UCLA. Is the fact that Alford is, as of last night anyway, has not turned down the offer that keeps you hear rumbling going back to Indiana. See, as long as it hangs out there, he doesn't put the end to it, then tells that tells me he's interested. So is that a distraction for his basketball team tonight?
That's one thing I wonder about, and that's one thing I was thinking about too when I picked that game. Was they have to be thinking about it. Of course, for a lot of the guys, they're going pro anyway, so everybody might leave regardless. But still to have that talked about, it has to be a little bit of a drain on them. But when you look at that situation, I could see that happening. It's almost the same thing as when you look at when Jim Harbaugh came back to Michigan. Everybody said, well, why would you leave California? Why would you leave that nice weather? Why would you leave the NFL, to come back and coach at a college? But, if that's where, that's where your roots are, that's where you're from and comfortable, and maybe a place, where you want to settle down into your retirement years or whatever, you start looking at the pull of that. That's something that you can't put a dollar value on. I mean, there's only one Indiana for Steve Alford, the way there's only one Michigan for Jim Harbaugh, and there's a certain limit to the amount of appeal UCLA is going to have in that situation.
Well put. We're talking to Dave Angie of the Johnson City Press. We're live here again at Food City. Again, the Midnight Madness sale cranks up in 10 minutes. You can see all of a sudden a lot more buggies in here, and folks going through and getting the sale paper, getting ready to get their specials. Again, we'll run them down for you here coming up in just a second. On the other side, we got the East Regional, Florida, Wisconsin, Baylor, and South Carolina, a couple of SEC basketball teams coming out of a football conference. So you like Wisconsin or Florida or Baylor and South Carolina? Those, who do you like?
I'll tell you what's interesting is all year long, I mean, everybody just missed the SEC, and I was among them. I mean, they looked like they were playing some bad basketball, and a lot of nights, and there was kind of on and off. But yeah, definitely dismissed the SEC, and here they are. They're in the mix. For the life of me, I can't believe South Carolina beat Duke. Still to this day, if I had to pick that game over again, I would still pick Duke. Because I think 9 times out of 10 they maybe win that. But great effort by them, and that shows what they're capable of. I just think that they're running into a Baylor team. Both teams have the strength of defense. I think that was South Carolina's strength that got them over the hump, and I think Baylor's strength is just a little bit better than South Carolina's strength. I think that gives them a little bit of an edge, and they're going to probably win that one. Of course, Florida, Wisconsin, I'll tell you, ETSU's starting to look better and better because Florida dismantled Virginia, and everybody thought Virginia was a pretty decent basketball team. They scored in the 30s, and I think Florida's speed and quickness had a lot to do with that. And I'll tell you, looking at Wisconsin, they haven't seen that yet. Even though they beat Villanova, they haven't seen the type of speed and the type of pressure, I don't believe, that they're going to see tonight against Florida. So, I kind of like Florida and Baylor to come out of that. But, again, expecting good basketball.
Again, it's the Dave, although at this point it's not the Dave. What's your brother's first name?
Jared. It could be the Jared.
Could be the Jared.
There
it is.
It could be the Fiona. I don't know how that works.
Let me just say this. If your daughter beats you, I don't know if you're coming back. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, I'm going to lose my spot to her. I'll tell you this, and she'd be on the show every week, and and you'd put her on here, and then I wouldn't be able to touch this trophy again. I'll tell you that. She told me already, if she wins that thing, it's off limits. It's going behind the velvet ropes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Your daughter told you that?
Yep.
Wow.
She said, "Hey,
man, it's intense at this place."
We had a boundary discussion if she wins the trophy. So.
It's intense at the Angie house. His 7-year-old said, "Dad, if I win it, hands off." Now, if Jared goes on to win, where do we ship this to? Where's he live?
It's going to Georgia.
Uh-oh.
It's going down to Georgia. So
who pays for the shipping? You?
Yeah, that's my responsibility. You don't get to ship it. That's not. I mean, you think I would get to ship it? Just anonymously go in and
no.
Well, I have to go and I have to look him in the eye and hand it
over to him.
I have to hand it and shake his hand too. I'm telling you, this runs pretty deep. There's a lot riding on this.
I'm not even involved in it. So you got to shake his hand. He's got to gloat and go, "Thank you, Dave, for bringing the Dave to me."
Let me tell you, we talked last week. Remember about Dixie? Because you win the milk bone of shame if Dixie beats you, the dog.
Yep.
The dog's like 5th place. It's spooky. I'm telling you. We looked at it, and the dog went 4 for 4 last night. So I'm thinking of maybe taking the dog to Vegas. Is what my thought is.
That could be a movie. Dixie's going to Vegas.
Dixie, yeah.
Now, where is Mrs. Angie? Is she having a good? No. The head shaking.
I see a milk bone in the future. But hey, there's 2 or 3. There's 2 or 3 that are in the running for that right now. I think because and I'll just say this. They throw treats down and the dog picks one, but the dog's playing well. We kind of think the dog's evolved a little bit since last year and learned the game. So
I can tell you right now, what little I've met your wife in previous encounters, she is not going to be happy if she knows you're talking about her on this show.
Oh.
It could be a milk bone.
Well, she's she's not happy about it.
No.
She's a big Gonzaga fan, so she's that's kind of helped smooth the waters a little bit because her team's doing well, So, but the minute they lose, I look out.
So when you walk in from work, I mean, do you kind of immediately bring this up, or you just kind of go, "Hey, how's your day?" and how's the daughter and everything, or do you kind of go right for the jugular?
No, I do not. I don't. I don't. You got to be kidding me.
Come on, Tom. How stupid do you think I am? I got you.
I've lived this long, so
there you go. You want to continue to live.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So right now it's Jarrett's to lose. Who's in second place? You're in third. Who's in second?
My daughter. I told you, my daughter's in second.
7-year-old. That's right.
She's a point behind him, and we're 4 points. Me and my dad are tied 4 points behind. And my mom's actually third, 2 points behind. So it's that tight. I mean, every game being worth 10 points, it could go. It's volatile right now. That's what I'm saying. I think I'm going to come out on top, but I can't gloat because it's going to be a close call if it happens.
We're talking to Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press again. It's Midnight Madness sale time. We're talking hoops, and I got a story for you out of the National Football League. The Redskins, every year everybody comes up with these crazy new rules for the National Football League. Have you seen this about the Redskins? They want to kick it on the kick to the upright.
Yep.
So they're proposing, the NFL, that if I kick off to you, you're the receiving team, and my kicker kicks the ball through the uprights on the kickoff, instead of you guys getting into the 25, we get rewarded for his ability to kick. You get the ball at the 20 instead of the 25. That's one of the rules. So, kind of spices things up. So if you got somebody like my guys, Janikowski, that can drive on pretty regular through the uprights, it's a long extended field goal, you get punished. You have to take it to the 20 instead of the 25. You like that or not?
I kind of do. I mean, I don't want there to end up being replay reviews to see if the ball went through the uprights. That's video review for me is just like the North Carolina, or not North Carolina, but the West Virginia Gonzaga game last night where they had like a 6-minute review, so in sports that's starting to kind of get to me a little bit. But if there's a way that I guess they could just put the officials underneath the goalpost like they do with a field goal, and they call it, then I'm for it. Their other rule change they wanted. The Redskins want to get rid of that color rush thing on the Thursday night games, and I don't know if you're aware of that, but Thursday night, the teams wear like all one color jerseys. Like the Titans will wear all blue, and there's been some of the ugliest jerseys I've ever seen in sports have been worn on Thursday night NFL games, which I guess is fitting because those have been some of the ugliest games I've ever watched because guys don't get rest. But I think the Redskins are on the forefront too, of saying, hey, let's get rid of this and let's just wear normal football jerseys. I say it can't hurt. So they're innovative. They're really they're on the ball, it looks like.
And they're going to be meeting next week. The other biggie, of course, is the fact that it looks like all the hurdles have been cleared from the National Football League. You got to have 24 out of the 32 owners to say yes. It looks like, at least at this point, unless there's a snag, that the Raiders will be going to Las Vegas coming up in a couple of years. Got to build them a stadium first, but looks like that's where they're headed. And I'm mixed on that. Of course, it's my team, but the NFL wants gambling to stay out of pro football. Okay, but you're going to put a team in obviously one of the gambling capitals of the world, if not the gambling capital. So what would you expect? And I don't know. I see mixed reviews on that, but Oakland doesn't want them. LA doesn't want them, so they got to go somewhere. So
well, and what we're seeing too is just a move to Vegas. I mean, we see NASCAR moving another race there, and the reason is, it's hard to get crowds to come to you nowadays sometimes. So people are going to where the crowds are. I mean, this being a destination city, what we found with NASCAR is their crowds there are wonderful. And for a second race, they'll still be wonderful because people look at it and say, hey, if we're going to go watch a race, if we're going to go watch an NFL game, there's all these other teams in the league whose fans are going to say, hey, if we're going to catch a road game this year, we're going to go to Vegas. We'll make a weekend of it. You can get a deal on a room. It seems to be stuff going on there outside of football, so you can make an entire weekend out of it. And it just seems like they're going to draw. I think the NHL team's going to do well there as well. So, the gambling part of it you have to look at a little bit. But in the same vein, I think gambling goes on everywhere in all these cities. And when you're in Vegas where it's so regulated, you might be better off than you would be in another city where you have it going on kind of black market in the back rooms, or whatever, however it works. But, so it'll be an interesting experiment. It could blow up, but I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to draw well. And I think it's going to be popular for fans of other teams who are just want to go somewhere for a vacation during the winter months.
We're talking to our buddy Dave Angie for a few more minutes. We'll let him go. We're going to get his take on some of the high school baseball games he's seen. Auto Club 500 this weekend, of course, is a doubleheader, the Xfinity Series race, and, of course, the big boys run on Sunday. Jimmy Johnson was driving a Superman car and wearing a cape the last time he saw Victory Lane at Auto Club back in 2016. So he owns this track. He has 6 wins, spanning a decade and a half. He also has 5 runner-up finishes. So this guy has an impressive finish of about 6.5 every time he runs out there. He's led 980 laps. Having said all that, you would think he's the front runner to win this thing this weekend, but you got to look at Penske, Logano, Keselowski run well there. Kyle Busch runs well there. So should be an interesting weekend of racing before they come back our way to Martinsville next weekend.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird deal. You look at Jimmy Johnson; he's always been good there. All of a sudden, Ford is the manufacturer to beat. I think Stewart-Haas Racing jumping on board has really helped. And of course, as successful as Penske has been, I think there's 2 surprising things. First of all, Ford's running well, and Jack Roush has nothing to do with it, because Jack Roush was the guy that carried the Ford banner for years and years, and now all of a sudden they're upon hard times, but still Ford overall is dominant. I mean, they're really fast. I think on a 2-mile track like California, it's really going to show how much ahead they are, and so it's going to be up to the Chevy cars and Toyota and everybody to figure out some strategy, and maybe try to figure out something in practice or in their data where they can pick up a little bit of speed. And it's kind of how this sport goes. I mean, if you're standing still, you're going to get passed up pretty quick. So there's always innovation going on, and it won't be very long until everybody else gets it figured out and gets caught up. But for this weekend, I agree with you. I think the Penske cars, are who you look at probably as being the favorites.
You look at the Tough Luck Driver right now. We're talking to Dave Angie. We're at the top of the hour here. Hour number 1's in the books. We're live here at Food City in Elizabethton. The Midnight Madness sale has officially kicked in right now until closing tonight. We're going to run down the specials for you here in just a minute. But you look again at Kyle Larson. Here's a guy that's had runner-up last 5 races for this year, and of course the last one last year. So this guy's been right there, and of course he is one of the names, I think, of the future of the sport, along with Chase Elliott and probably Ryan Blaney, maybe Daniel Suarez for the Hispanic fan base. But he's right there knocking on the door, and this may be the week he knocks it down, but this kid can drive a car.
Yeah, definitely so. And and that's how it works. In racing, you got to be in the top 5 every week, and then you break through and you get a victory. A lot of things, I think that illustrates how many things have to go your way to win one of these deals. And that's why the drivers, it doesn't matter how old they are, how long they've been at it, they're really excited in victory lane, because it all has to just match up and mesh up right. We've seen a lot of drivers this year that just look like they're on their way to victory. Then there's that last caution, and then everything gets jumbled up. And it's no fault of your own. It's just something that happened way back in the field. But that they just feel so fortunate when they win it. I think that's an illustration. But if you're up there often enough, law of averages says it has to happen at some point. And then once it does, it seems like winning gets easier, especially for the very talented drivers.
Get that first one under your belt, it kind of begins to do that domino effect.
Yeah.
Last thing, switching gears, you've been out covering a lot of high school baseball and softball. Who's hot right now? Who are some of the teams you would tell us to be paying attention to and be looking out for?
Well, I've seen Science Hill a couple times, and they look really strong. They've really been hitting the ball, which you would expect out of them. They've had some really solid pitching efforts as well. So, I think up this way, they're a team to look at. I haven't seen Dobbins Bennett yet. Normally, those are 2 teams that are tangling for the top of the standings. Tennessee High is as well. Of course, they lost Monday to Crockett in a really good ball game. I think it was 2-0. Great pitching effort by Crockett in order to keep Tennessee High in check. So, it's funny in spring sports. I mean, a lot of these key conference matchups happen really early in the season. So, it's going to be interesting moving forward. But, yeah, I mean, look at that Big 7 race. Once they get to tournament time, it's always fun to see who's able to come out on top in that.
You look at the Three Rivers. We'll be there tonight. Elizabethton and Volunteer. Again, the Cyclones 4-1. But in the Three Rivers, you've had Unicoi beat Elizabethton. Unicoi beat South. East beat Unicoi. I mean, it's been all over the road, and there's another one in there too. So it's